Hi, I'm Dr. Dawn, better known as the DH, and this is the Embrace Your Greatness podcast, affectionately known as EYG. Listen, if this is the first time we have connected, welcome. I'm excited about getting to know you. I'm excited about you seeing the greatness inside of you and walking it out. If you're family and you have been here before and you came back for more because you know you're going to be challenged, you're going to be charged, and you're going to be developed here at Embrace Your Greatness. Welcome, welcome back. I have missed you. I hope that the podcasts are blessing you and you are seeing your life being built by design. Do me a favor, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so we can stay connected. I'm looking forward to hearing what's happening in your life. Let's hop right into the Embrace Your Greatness podcast. Welcome back to another Embrace Your Greatness podcast. I'm Dr. Dawn, and I'm so excited to share this podcast with you. This podcast is near and dear to my heart. It's called Calling All Survivors. But before we get started, I want you to do three things. I want you to like, share, and subscribe so we can stay in contact with each other. And you are notified every time we come on. I also want you to go to www.egyginc.com and visit the sponsor for this podcast, Embrace Your Greatness. Listen, I'm excited about sharing this with you, not because it's a uplifting topic, but I think it's a needed topic, right? This podcast is called Calling All Survivors. And I want to share some things with you because I don't know if you can understand what a survivor is after they have been abused. You might have compassion for them, but I don't know if you can really relate if you have not suffered that kind of trauma. Unfortunately, in my first marriage, and I'm not blaming him, it's just what it is. And I pray that anyone that is an abuser, they need help too. We don't know if they were abused first. We don't know what they were exposed to. And it does not give them permission to abuse anyone else. And everybody should be held accountable, the ones who abuse them and them if they're an abuser. So we hope that people that have caused this kind of trauma get the help they need and are held accountable for what it is that they have done. But I want to talk more about how we can go on, move on, after we've been in an abusive situation. So I'm calling all survivors, and I'm sure that you can relate, and I hope that this will give you some solace, some insight, and some tools that you can use to get healed. Definitely, I want to share with you, even before we get started, the National Domestic Violence Hotline phone number is 1-800-799-7233, 1-800-799-7233 is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. If you are experiencing any kind of abuse, physical, mental, emotional, anything that is debilitating or causing you harm, please, please, please get some help. So come on, let's get started. People are saying, this is the reason I'm doing this podcast. This is the reason. If I hear another person say, why did they stay? If I hear another person say, what took them so long to say something? It's been years. That's what lets me know you've never been abused, right? A couple of reasons. There's a shame, unfortunately, that comes with the abuse that's very hard to navigate. At least the Lord help you, right? And so I'm going to give some different, tools, information, statistics, and maybe we can give you some insight on how abuse affects people, and it does affect people differently. So I'm not saying that what I'm about to share is the absolute, that it is the only way that it is. I'm just going to give you a perspective from my situation and what I have learned over the years after I experienced domestic violence in my own marriage at a very young age, right? And so the first thing is that there are so many complex and varied reasons why many women stay in abusive relationships. And I want to share with you why they do, because people are like, well, why would you stay? Well, you've never been a victim of abuse. And so sometimes after certain things have been done to you, some things can be very degrading, sexually degrading, physically degrading, mentally degrading, that you don't even feel valued after it. And so even though the person wouldn't know unless you told them, or you'd always have fear of people finding out, and you're kind of like, I'm already damaged goods, so what else can happen, right? There are just so many different dynamics. And I think in the spiritual realm, those are demonic ways for the enemy to oppress us, right? Because of these things being done. But number one is the fear of abusers' threats, violence, harm, and retaliation if you leave, not just for you. We know, an abuser knows the depth of the temperament of the person that they're with. And because they have a social persona, they are able to present themselves in a way that makes it hard for you to believe that they knocked our head off. They're the good old guy, good old girl. Women are abusers too. They're not as frequently as men, but there are situations where women abuse men. But they have this persona that makes it hard for you to believe. And if you've never experienced it, it's really just hard to believe anyway sometimes if you never experienced it. And so you know how far that person will go, hide, act, operate. You know how far they will go when they physically do things to you, the kind of things they do to you, the degrading things they do to you, the experimental things sometimes. I'm just going to be as transparent as I can, that they will do to you, how they will inspect you. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so not only does it devalue you, wait. Okay, come on, Dawn. You got that, right? I don't know why that made me emotional, but there are a whole lot of mental, emotional, and physical dynamics that go into abuse, but you are afraid of what they'll do. And because you know their psyche and you can watch them be a chameleon, right? They can be the life of the party and you can do something at that party. Why is this? I'm telling y'all, I've been delivering from this for years. I don't know why this is emotionally getting to me. I guess the compassion I have for the women who are being misunderstood or the men who are being misunderstood, because we're hearing a lot about men. And listen, abuse has been going on a long time. Let me just say something here. It probably seems like things are worse, but what if the fact that things are worse are really God's way of winning because he's exposing everything? So it was always there. Things have happened to people for a long time. And now it's coming to a head. And so it could be the blessing that now people can get the help that they need because it was such a secret, right? And so now people are talking about it more. But because we know their temperament and we know that they're a chameleon, and you can be at a party and not even do anything. Maybe someone that they don't like, a gentleman walks up to you and says hello, and you smiled a little too hard. And even though he's a chameleon and he has everyone thinking everything is fine and you are great, key, ha, 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 everything is good. And he looks at you and you know you're getting it in the car or you're getting it at home. And he goes the rest of the night laughing, joking, arm around your shoulder with everyone. And you know when he saw, Chuck speak to you, and you smiled, not even flirtatiously, just cordially, as a human does. Now he laughing and kikiing and talking to women and everything, but he don't like Chuck. You're getting beat when you get home. You're getting abused when you get home. And so you know that. And so if we know that about them, then we know that when they say I'll do something to your family, they mean it, or your child, or they'll come to your job and do something. Listen, I had a situation where the abuser in my life came to my job. I got suspended because they jumped on someone on my job. Like, you have to know, these people are crazy, and so you're afraid to go to work. You're afraid to be kind at work because they're sitting outside in the parking lot watching you. I lived that. So when I hear stories, I know people are telling the truth. In some of these situations, because I lived it. I lived it where the person that loves you is stalking you. The person that loves you is threatening you. The person that loves you doesn't care if you lose your job. They don't care. And so when people are saying, why didn't you leave? Sometimes, and I'm going to say this as kindly as I can, based on that abuser's temperament, sometimes it's safer for you to stay because based on how they are, that if you stay, you'll just be abused. But if you leave, you won't be here anymore. They will take you out of here. And you have to wait for the right opportunity. Sometimes the right opportunity is that they meet someone else and that person distracts them. Sometimes the right opportunity is that you move somewhere else, but you have to wait sometimes, depending on that person, for the right opportunity. Okay, so fear of the abusers or threats. Number 2, emotional manipulation. No one's going to want you because I'm going to tell them what I did to you, or the bruises, or the scars, or the makeup that you use to hide them, or what they've done to you intimately that has been inappropriate, that might have messed something up and you just do not know. And so the emotional manipulation, guilt, gaslighting, emotional blackmail, and controlling their partner is the second reason why women do not leave. Financial dependence. They, like the person I was with, almost made me lose my job. And so they can put you in a position. I remember, God rest her soul, my sister had someone in her life. Literally, we're driving down the street trying to get away from him. He jumps on the hood of the car and holds onto the car while she's driving. I'm not exaggerating. And people from where I'm from know what I'm talking about. So you just don't know. You just do not know, right? Low self-esteem, believing that you deserve it or you're unworthy of love and respect, especially after they've done something to you that's inappropriate. Trauma bonding, a strong emotional connection with an abuser despite the abuse, because the trauma, for you to survive it, it latched on because you would have mentally unraveled if it didn't. Hope for change, believing that your abuser doesn't change. They have made you believe that they love you, right? They have made you believe that they're going to get themselves together. They are very repentive after they have now, done some damage or some harm to you. Shame and stigma, I started out with that, feeling embarrassed or ashamed about the abuse, and that leads to silence, right? Lack of support, people seeing the chameleon and they think you're crazy. If you mention it to one person and they're like, are you kidding me? It'll stop you from telling anyone else. Cultural and societal pressures of people saying that, once you get married, you should stay married and things like that. Those are things you should take up with the Holy Spirit. But what I will tell you is whatever situation you're in, always get help. And I've given you the phone number for that. I'll give it to you again. Children. Sometimes people stay for the children because maybe they feel like he'll either harm them or they feel like it's more important for them to stay in that situation. Self-blame. Believing that you are responsible for the abuse or that you can fix the abuser. And this often comes when you feel like you put yourself in that relationship. You chose the wrong person. So now you start blaming yourself because how come you didn't see it? Why didn't you know? Something must be wrong with them. You can love them through all that kind of stuff. So you can blame yourself for it. So it's important for us to recognize that there are reasons that exist. It doesn't justify abuse, but there are complexities to it. And so the reason I did this podcast is I want to make sure that we understand that there's complexities to it and that there's not a one size fit all when it comes to someone being harmed. It's not. Yes, there are people that they fight each other. Now, let me say this in transparency. The first time my ex-husband hit me, that was a beating. But because I'm from Little Washington, North Carolina, the land of grit and grind, right? I was shocked the first time. After that, there was no beating. We fought. If he hit me, I hit him back. Like one time my sister came home, our whole place was tore up. The whole house was torn up. Like he would do things when he went out in the field. One time he bought all these groceries home and I'm like, why are you buying all these groceries? You're not even going to be here. He's like, oh, you're not leaving the house, and took my keys. Like the control that comes with it. And I know this sounds unbelievable. Thank God for deliverance. Thank God I'm stronger now. But yeah, the first time he beat me because I was shocked. After that, we fought, okay? And we got married in April. I was out of that situation by August. A lot happened in that period of time. But I knew I could leave because, let me say this, my mom, and she's got her own story. She'll be writing her own book. But my mom was in a very abusive relationship with my father. And I remember the fight that they had, that she put him out of our house and they got divorced. And for some reason, thank God for that, it was in the back of my mind that you could start over. And so I was able, thank goodness, because I dated him. He never did anything like that before we got married. I never saw any signs of that. I would have never married him, even though I was young, right? I wouldn't have married him. So I didn't see any signs of that. But the moment we got married, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And again, I'm not trying to paint him as a bad person. I'm saying his condition. I'm not talking about him. I'm just telling you my experience. And so prayerfully, he went on to get help and is in a healthy marriage. I wish the best for him, but this was my experience with him. So I don't want to paint it like, oh, I got beat all the time. I got beat one time. Now, did he physically overpower me? Yes. So I still was physically harmed, but she was fighting, scrapping, right, while she was getting pommelated, right? So, and I'm not laughing at it because it's not funny, but I like to tell the truth. And people are like, oh, I was fighting, y'all. I was fighting. First time I was shocked. The rest of the time, we're going to get down with the get down. And then I just could not live like that. I'm like, this cannot be the rest of my life. And the Lord gave me the strength to walk away. And so that a lot of people do not know that in North Carolina, they call me Michelle Harvey, right? So my name is Dawn Michelle Harvey-Owens now, but Dawn Michelle Harvey. And my family called me Michelle. People in North Carolina still call me Michelle. When I moved to DC and I got a job, they took my entire name on my work application and they put Dawn Harvey on everything. I didn't like Dawn Harvey. I love it now, but I didn't like it then because everyone called me Michelle. But this is how good God is, right? What I realized is that after I ran away and came to DC, it was an alarm for me because he did find me in DC. And when I came out the house and he said Michelle, it was a trigger for me. And so them changing my name by accident really was a blessing in disguise, right? And so I'm saying all that to say that when you're healed, you can look back over and thank God for it. And woo, I'm glad I'm out, and you can tell the story, but it's never funny and it was never easy. And so I just want to give you these quick statistics because I want you to have some compassion for victims, and I don't want us to prejudge. And I will say this, if you are not a victim, you are hurting victims by saying that you are, because that's what causes people not to believe us, right? If you are not a victim, I would implore you to find another way to express your issue. Do not be calling the police on someone if they're not physically abusing you just because you're mad. If you are a victim, stand up for yourself, get some help, but use wisdom so that you stay safe and you can keep the people around you safe. The United States National Coalition Against Domestic Violence says that 1 in 4 women, which is 24.9%, have experienced severe physical violence, rape, and or stalking by an intimate partner. 1 in 7 women, 14.3%, have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner. 1 in 5 women, 20.5%, have experienced completed or attempted rape in their lifetime. I can check off some of them boxes. 1 in 6 women, 16.9%, have experienced stalking. So the largest number is 7. So if you have 7 women in the room, one of them has experienced one of these at minimum, right? At minimum, whether you can tell or not, it is a statistic. The WHO reports 38.6% of women have experienced physical or sexual violence by an intimate partner. 38.6%. 32.2% of women have experienced physical violence by an intimate partner. 32.2% of women. If there are 4 people in a room, one of them has experienced physical violence by an intimate partner. We're talking about people that they know. 18.3% of women have experienced sexual violence by an intimate partner. 5 people, 1 in the room. So it's important for us to know that these statistics likely underestimate the prevalence of abuse because so many cases go unreported. This is what's reported. And so I'm having this conversation with you in this podcast, calling all survivors. For us, 1, if you are not a victim, please do not pretend that you are, because you are hurting other victims, right? If you are a victim, seek help, but use wisdom so that you stay alive and you can protect the people that you love. And I want to say to an abuser, if you were abused, I am so sorry. But abusing somebody else is not going to take that away, nor do other people deserve it because you went through it. And I am imploring you that if you feel that rage within inside of you, please go get help. So I do want to pray, even though this is a podcast. Father, I thank you right now for this platform and this conversation. And I hope that this information causes people to be more empathetic and more compassionate, and it'll cause others to be more honest and more truthful. But more importantly, God, that the victims will be held in the palm of your hand and that you will heal them, that you will reveal to them who they are and the value that they have, and that you will reset their entire life. And that if someone is struggling with anger or rage, if they have been abused, or if it is just an issue within them, that they would go get help so that we can minimize the negative impact and the danger that they place others in. I am praying this prayer over you. So I hope that this helps someone. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Oh, my heart is just aching, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Visit our website, www.egyinc.com, for more resources and products. Listen, if you're dealing with anger, stress, anxiety, you can't sleep, if you need some type of assistance with headaches, or if you are going through, you're trying to plan something and you need creativity, or you have writer's block, we have a wonderful product called Clarity. It has all natural essential oils in it that are good for and can aid and possibly help with like headaches and stress, creativity, writer's block. It can help with anxiety, support you in that way. And so definitely check out our products, our books, the candles, everything that we offer so that we can be a blessing to you. And again, this is sponsored by Embrace Your Greatness. So you'll see that on the website. And also we're going to have some things coming up in the very near future that we think is going to be a benefit to you. Thank you again for joining our podcast. God bless you. And I'm praying that as a victim, that you will get the help that you need and that you can start your life all over again. Embrace Your Greatness is about building your life by design. You get to choose how you use what happens to you. You can't always choose what happened, but you get to choose how you use it. And I decided, even though I was a victim, that I would find victory in everything that happened, that life could not beat me up for free, that it owed me, because Romans 8:28 says all things work together. So even my pain had to pay me. And I hope that you feel the same way. Again, I'm Dr. Dawn. This is the Embrace Your Greatness podcast. Like, share, subscribe so we can stay connected. And make sure you visit our website, www.eyginc.com. Until next time, God bless you. I love you, thinking of you, praying for you. Love God and love yourself. So out of that love, you can love everyone else with the proper boundaries, making sure you build your life by design. I hope that this segment was a blessing to you. Some topics are going to be harder than others. Some topics are going to be more sensitive than others. And so we want to make sure that we give each topic the time and the care that it needs. We definitely want to make sure that we stay connected. We're going to remind you one more time to like, share, and subscribe so that we can make sure that when something is coming up, you know about it. We're looking forward to seeing you at our future events and everything else that we have in store for 2025. More than anything, I want you to know that I'm excited about you because you have made the decision to embrace your greatness. This is unlike anything else because this is an internal job that produces external results. We specialize in results, and we're so glad that we got to meet somebody as special as you. Tune in for the next podcast, and I'm looking forward to hearing what's happening in your life.